Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Greg, just quickly before this thing kicks off, give us your thoughts on last week, man.
Uh, in totality, or just from our perspective?
Yeah, I mean, from maybe let's start with your perspective. Let's go there.
Yeah, I thought our good was phenomenal. We had some really good performances, and our misses were unfortunate. And they kind of our misses sort of hurt from a points perspective as much as anything else. So we kind of had the full spectrum of results. But our good was really good, and you can kind of see a little bit of year two development from someone like Tori, who it's amazing that she hasn't won an event yet, given she's gone 150.0 in the IM and 48.9 in the 100 fly and 46.4 in the 100 free. But just as a testament to the meet as a whole, it was really fast all around. But we did some really great stuff. We had 5 freshmen there, and all 5 scored individually. I can't remember us ever doing that. So there's a lot to kind of get excited about and build on, but we got to keep getting faster. The sport is progressing. It was an amazing meet when you consider what the women from Virginia did, and some of the swims from Texas and Louisville and NC State. I mean, it was really good. Not to mention what Maggie did. So it was. In a lot of ways, I wish I was there as a swim fan. Thomas, good to see you.
Hello.
Kind of like this, I get to just be a swim fan for this one. But last week, I think for all swim fans, it was pretty impressive stuff.
Crazy fast swimming, man. I was like, what on earth is going on here? But like when you looked at the entry list and it's like Olympic medalist, this and that, and it's just like all the way down the list, world champion, Olympic champion. It's like, man, this event is a different type of NCAAs when you got Olympic champs and world champs on, swimming at an NCAA meet, on a non-Olympic year. It's going to be out of this world, isn't it?
And I think on the women's side, more so than the men's side, you have more folks that have competed at bigger international competitions. That's just the nature of the beast, right? That kind of physical maturation happens a little bit earlier on the women's side. And so you did have a lot of women that were there at that meet that have competed on the world's biggest stage. And it obviously happens on the men's side, but maybe not to the same degree. And so you look at some of those heats and it's locked and loaded. It's pretty awesome. As a swim fan, it's really good stuff.
Yeah. Well, we'll dig in more to you guys, and I definitely want to talk to Tom and say hi. When does this meet kick off? I guess
just started.
Just started. Yeah. Heat 1's in the water.
Oh, damn. Well, I wonder why mine hasn't. Oh, there we go. I had to refresh. Okay.
Still have to get used to this schedule. I'm too old.
Yeah, Tommy, you
how
barely
do you guys
had
feel about this,
relay.
like finals only relays? I feel like it changed the game a little bit.
Yeah.
Hey, let's them go for it in the mornings now. I don't know if I'm a fan. We had such good gentleman nature when we were working together, Greg.
I think it's good for the sport. I think for the fans, I think it's really good for the sport because they can go, if you can take 4 swims off of their plate through the course of 3.5 days, then, hey, that may allow for some better performances. Hey, Stanford Cardinals out here crushing it in Heat 1.
Stanford, yeah.
Where are you guys at on the feed?
Freestylers in the water.
Finished 118, 119, 120 for Heat 1.
Okay, I'm just at 110 right now. So I'm a little behind.
You're about 10 seconds behind.
Yeah, so I'm going to mute it when we go to the big heats here.
We always have that drama.
Always.
I think the finals only took away a little bit of the advantage of a team like you guys, Cal. You guys have
everyone's got fresh legs
now, right? And I feel that some of the studs in the smaller team, they have to swim prelims and they got to go for it in the morning, and they got to go again. And then by the time you get to Saturday, we were looking at the list. I'm like, holy cow, this guy's swimming like 12 events.
I posted like a back in my day. And someone replied, it's like, well, back in mine, we had prelims for the 800s. So you had to do 3 200s. And I was like, well, if that was me, I'd have to do a 50, 100, 100, 200 2 times. It's gotten better throughout history.
When they had the 8 free relay on the second night, that was just like a war at the end. Like you're never putting like 100 guy that's flexed into a 200. You're not putting that type of person on that relay. You're throwing the miler flexing down to the 200.
It was always the longest break, at least in my years. So it's like I was like, I'm ready for bed. Like I've eaten a meal. Yelled at Greg twice.
Yeah, those are the ones, and it was like pretty much every relay you'd have like a 136 on there. Just someone who totally ate it at the end.
Hey, I did that plenty of times. I think Lochte did too. It was an interesting time period.
Well, the guys that I guess you were doubling, but for Lochte, 4IM was probably 2 hours before that relay.
Exactly, and he was dead. And then his last year, he did the 100 back, and then he like destroyed the relay. If I remember correctly.
You guys getting pictures of Texas getting sprayed in the face by pyrotechnics right now? Is that what's happening?
Yeah.
2008 flashback.
Everyone's walking through with their goggles on.
Jeez, that's rough.
I do enjoy how much of like a thing it is now. When I was coming into it, like everyone's like, "What is college swimming?" Yeah. It was no one even cared.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see Texas in the not in the last heat on this relay.
But it was funny. Carson texted me a little bit earlier this year, and he was like, "Hey, it's looking like I'm gonna have to do the 50 back on the medley relay. Do you have any tips?" And I was like, "I don't know how to do a 50 back. I just go and spin." So for a guy who's predominantly training for the 400 IM, this is that's a pretty cool thing to see him going 50 back.
That's him leading off there?
Yeah.
Alabama,
like 20 points, like all across. The question is, anyone's going 19 tonight?
Yeah.
50 backstroke.
Yeah, they have to, right? Someone's going to.
I'm sorry. Florent managers from France, so we'll see.
Here we go.
This guy's sitting on his couch in Jack London's or wherever he lives.
Yeah. Hey, don't give away my address, Tom.
Sorry. My bad.
Who's that? Someone slipped on the start. Oh, geez, that's awful.
Oh man, that's terrible.
Yeah, he's in trouble.
Oh, that sucks.
20.5. Yeah, not that quick.
Damn, you are way ahead.
Oh, sorry. Shit. My apologies.
You might have to. Yeah, you guys might have to hit a pause on your TV for like 10 seconds or whatever.
Very delayed reaction.
Okay, I got a good 10 seconds on you. All right, I'll take it easy.
I'm at the exchange for fly right now. Alabama did a Superman dive. Hands open.
Don't think they have the freestyle in the back.
Man, lane 2's moving.
Louisville. And they got
a great meet on the women's side.
They got a freestyle in the back.
Yeah, they really did.
The ACC champions in the back coming up.
Louisville's flying right now.
Louisville. Yeah, let me go 121.
Didn't Louisville women were pretty good last week, right?
They did. They got fourth. That matched their highest finish from 2019, and they were good. Really, kind of outside of the first night, they were very good Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
That's quick right there. Holy hell, that's quick.
Oh yeah.
They have.
Wait a minute, that's Indiana.
Oh, that's Indiana. Yeah. Oh, damn, Indiana.
But Louisville's always had the pieces. Like, I mean, they beat Marty, 12 years ago, and like they've always had their good ones can go.
Yeah. Joao DeLuca.
Yeah.
With the foot clap celebration. That one was iconic.
I think I was right. Yeah, and then before him was Almeida. I think it was Carlos, a 200 breaststroke, or Caio maybe.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
No, Caio's a fly. I don't know. An Almeida.
What's the NCAA record here again? 21-1. 21-1. They weren't that far off that. Damn.
I think it's gonna take 120 to win this whole thing.
It looks like it, yeah.
It's insane.
21-5.
I mean, you guys are going 20 flat, 50 back, and now under 19, 50 fly. Like, you got to imagine that relay's going 120.
We had in our conference mid-major, we had two guys went 22.5 and 22.6 in the breaststroke in our conference. I was watching. I got a breaststroker went 24.0, which is like for us, it was really good. And it was just like, I was like, man, swing so slow. And then the other breaststroker touched the wall like 22.5. I'm like, what? 22.5?
I remember when that was like the fastest ever time.
That's not good. Texas just got 6 in the heat. Ouch. Yeah.
And Stanford in Heat 1 was faster than them as well. So they're 7th with the heat to go.
Ooh, wow. Yeah. No good.
The times are just real tight. It's very deep now.
Yeah.
I don't want my bias to show, but when you have a math problem in event 1, it's not a good sign.
Well, I was with Texas. I feel like, I mean, they're going to be so good in 5 free, 4 a.m. mile. Like, I mean, you get 4 scores in each of those. I mean, that's a haul. I mean, they're going to be great. It's just
that's an interesting point, because in my era, it was like we would try and dump in certain events, and then now Cal's. We just kind of good in everything, and Texas is now the team that's like dumping in certain events.
What's the order of the relay here for Cal?
I don't know. I'm assuming Bjorn on back, just because
he might be the first guy to go 19.
Yeah,
you may see that right here.
Looks like Alexi's freestyle, as you could assume.
I think between him and Stokowski went 20.1, Bjorn went 20.0 last year.
Yep. But in terms of the relay itself, Florida just does not have a weak link through this, so it'll be interesting to see if anybody can get past them.
Yeah, Florida looks good on this one.
I've been talking to Dare off and on. We'll see if that gambit pays off.
Is he going fly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, a week and a half ago, that's what the story was.
And are they doing Liam Bell or Reese on breaststroke?
Looks like Liam.
Looks like Bell. Yeah.
We'll see.
Here we go. Line two.
Dare's in the wrong tab.
Oh, is it already going for you guys?
Yeah, just started.
All right, I'm muting you guys then.
I'm way behind.
Is that Bjorn? Bjorn pulls up real high?
I guess so.
Oh, he's moving. He's moving, guys. He's moving. This could be a 19.
Yeah, he's going 19. He's way ahead.
17, 18.
Oh, they caught up?
Yeah, something happened on the breakout on these.
No. He didn't have a good second lap because he was smoking that first lap.
20.2.
Watch out for NC State.
A second faster than I would ever.
Watch out. Whoo, here come. Who's fourth? ASU?
It looks like ASU's winning.
Why is
that not ASU?
That's my Sean right there.
Leon.
Leon.
Leon just dropped a 50 breast for the ages.
All right, Dari.
I don't know, guys. This is going to be close.
This is close.
Watch out for NC State. You got Curtis in the back.
A little back and forward here. Damn, this is close.
Ooh, this is close.
Oh, bad finish on Cal. Terrible finish for Cal.
Yeah.
Come on.
Woo, here come David Curtis.
Wait, who's that? Damn. Oh, is that David Curtis?
Curtis.
Dang, he's got this.
Wow.
Wow, this is quick too. Oh, wow, that's quick.
Wow, it looks like Alexi kind of fought his way back in there.
Oh,
NC State for the win. Holy hell. 20
record by half a second.
That break the record by a half second.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Oh, damn.
You know, the big thing with NC State is all veterans, right? You got Stokowski senior, Neal seniors, transfer from Michigan, and then a really, really experienced Curtis. I mean,
Neal's older,
a lot
right?
of teams that have freshmen that swim so hot in the conference. How you turn around from conference to NC2A? That's a hard turnaround.
That was a fast heat. 20.6. I mean, all those teams had to have been 21-2 or under, right?
22-2 on that breaststroke split. Is that what he went? Damn. Holy
22-2?
That's what they're saying, man.
It looked
like Curtis's turn.
Oh, I just got the little replay looked a little interesting on the breaststroke finish there for Leon, but nothing to see there. That's okay.
Nothing to see. There we go. They cleared it. 22.
I thought we got by
Brad, I just texted you. I called it at 5:30. I texted Dan Kolupski, NC State for the win, 120.9. I called it.
Oh,
They went
okay.
faster, man.
Good call, dude. Good call.
You sold him short, man. 20.6.
I know.
Am I incorrect? Niels is a little bit on the news
22,
compared to a normal breaststroker, right?
Damn, that's quick. Well, kind of gets the nerves out. There we go. First event done. Shake off the nerves.
That was a fast start.
24.
Is it? I'm not seeing like the results aren't showing up yet as official. Do we know if it's official?
Nate, you got any official results?
It is on Meet Mobile. It's good.
Okay. I was
the
on the
only-
high tech like Nate.
Only DQ was Missouri.
Oh yeah, Bobby. I got the text right there, man. 20.9 NC State for the win. Calling that at 5:30, dude. Woo. Nice. I like that.
For Cal, Alexi 18-1 at the end. I think his best flat start 53 is like 19-2. So that's nice. That guy's he's a beast. He's a strong dude.
He's big.
Who is he? Where's he come from?
He's from the Northeast, either
New York somewhere.
He's from New Jersey area.
New Jersey.
Okay. Nice.
Man.
Yeah, that's nice though.
Can we stream it? No, we can't. Unfortunately, we're not allowed. We can just talk shit about it, but we can't stream it.
Any other crazy splits in there? I'm trying to pull up.
Van Matai is 22.5 in a breaststroke, Indiana.
The Niels from NC State, 19-1.
Jeez.
Leander, that's not that quick.
Who's been on the 18 earlier? I forget who that was.
Crooks was 19-2. I mean, that's disgusting.
Fly, yeah, that's filthy.
Leandro 18-0.
Well, no, this guy's really wanting you to answer this question, Greg, and I don't know if there's an answer to it.
What was it? Oh. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Good question. We don't have answers for everything. We can try, but don't know.
Did you imagine a long course entry in December? What that would do to the year?
Okay, here we go.
There it is.
Pretty clean reaction times too. Yeah.
Dareg was sitting though, 0.3.
Alexi was 18-1 with a 0.21 exchange.
Wow. But Dare is the one who false started at Pac-12, so he's probably a little nervous on that one.
So we had three teams under NCAA record there.
Yep.
The first all top three.
I guess two. 21-1-4 for Florida. It was 21-1-3.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah, Brett, do you think this is the year you guys will get got in the freestyle?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's got to go, right? Like they say, they came so close at SECs, and there's no way that those guys were fully all the way down. And they got themselves a buffer, but like if these guys are dropping time like this, there's going to be maybe a couple of teams that could knock it off. You know?
Yeah.
It's funny because when I look at that record, it's not the order that I remember it. Like I remember having better teams than that. Like Caesar wasn't even on that record.
I know. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that was the relay record. And then when I
it's
look at it,
crazy, right? With the relay records are not necessarily the best. Situations even.
They're talking about Florida breaking it, and Caleb's not even on it. You know, so it's like it's funny how it goes like that. But when I look at the race itself, it's not a perfect race by any means. They don't look like they're swimming out of this world. So yeah, I definitely think it could go.
Well, I feel like it's like when you get you would kind of assume you'll get three guys leading off 18-3 or faster. I mean, that just pulls the whole heat.
Yeah.
So you like, they'll be out quick.
Yeah.
Well, Harvard had some good reactions there. Oh, no.
Where did Texas end up? They were
12th.
12th. Okay. Alabama.
But tonight, you can't imagine they were thinking they were going to do a ton in the 2 medley. I mean, the eight free relays where they make their money there.
So who's doubling up here? Carson for sure. Leon probably.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Because that's one that they're coming in as the top seed, and
yeah.
they're probably not going to mess around with that one.
There's probably a few others, but I doubt it's going to be as busy as it used to be.
So it looks like, the Indiana guys, I feel like.
Yeah.
They'll be on there
for sure.
Tomer. I don't really know what Tomer's like now, but he's always been good at the 2 free.
Mm-hmm.
They would have Cody Miller on that relay when we were in college. That was pretty sick.
Murph, how many years did you do the 800 free relay?
I just did it senior year.
Once? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because I want to say the first 2 years it was on the second night. So I wasn't on it there. And then junior year, our 2 free relay was pretty weak. So we needed me to help us get into the A final there.
Yeah.
And then senior year I did the 8 free relay.
I feel like that's always the stress point for guys in that position. It's is it one of the 200s or the 800, and just kind of it's about everyone else, not themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And when you did it, your senior year, it was still the only event on Wednesday night, right? The 200 medley hadn't shifted.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Correct.
Hey, Nate, pull those results back up for us real quick. I want to see ASU. Got a lot of talk about how ASU have rested a lot this year and wouldn't have much left in the tank. They actually got faster.
Mm-hmm.
And
it'd be cool to look at a side by side for them because from their Pac-12 results, because Leon.
I think the only one is Leon that went faster. I think everybody else exactly the same time.
About the same.
Yeah, it was pretty close. I remember Johnny Cole. I was pretty impressed at Pac-12. It went 18-4. The question would be, he's a freshman. Is he going to do it again in season? Pretty impressive to do it again.
Yeah, exactly the same. Which is what you would expect. Your top end can be a little bit more dynamic or technical. It's always the mid group that you would worry about with their plan. And then on day 3, I think, or day 4 now.
2 other guys went 22-3. Who did that?
Minnesota. What's his name?
Max McHugh.
Yeah, Max. Yeah, Max 22-3. And who else went 22-3?
Yeah.
That's quick. That's real quick.
Wait, who got DQ'd? If you don't mind.
Mizzou.
Oh, gotcha.
I think Virginia Tech too, right?
Yeah. Sergio.
It's not good. Not a fun way to start the meet with a DQ.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure it would have.
Ooh.
Damn.
Damn. They had some reaction times.
Total reaction time, 0.01. That's crazy.
Wow.
That's the young Costanje in the back.
That's Roman out there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully that was Roman's job. Go the old Arizona method. Shoot for 00, and if you're negative 0.03, it's all good.
Yeah. There you go.
Look at that. Georgia went under 23 and they got 13th. Holy
that's insane.
Hell, that's crazy. Damn. What's
the A cut?
I don't know. I guess
it's so much faster than it used to be. I mean, I think I want to say my sophomore year, I think we won with a 22-6 by a lot.
Yeah.
Now we
went 23 and set the American record, but I'm old.
Oh yeah, I think
back in my day. Was that one back in my days?
Yeah, my bad. That was my last swim.
I think freshman year Cal went 23 and we won. That was a lane 8-er.
Yeah. We just ran into that Michigan team my senior year.
Yeah,
That was
they were
2013. Yeah, Tom.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was.
Greg, I want to
that was
ask
a
you,
long time ago.
exactly. What's it
10
like
years
being
ago.
back on deck at Ncaa with old Davo?
Yeah, that was great.
Wow.
It's like a decade later.
Busting his chops that he's got to go to another meet this week. So that just brings joy to my heart. Yeah, we had and we had some really good NCAAs together. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So listen, last week when you finished this race, what's your feeling inside? Like as a coach, give us a little insight into after the first race goes, how you feeling?
Well, it's good to. It depends, right? If it's a good swim, you're like, all right, it's great, everything's going to be awesome. And if it's not, you're like, ah, crap.
Is there a little bit of panic in there, and you're not,
Yeah,
you're trying not to show it?
Try not to overreact.
All right.
For us in particular, we were not in the last heat, so we that's just not our best relay. That's kind of our weakest relay of the 5, and so we were the second to last heat in lane 5, and just trying to win that heat to see if we could give ourselves a chance to be top 8. And we were second in that heat. Cal had a really good swim, actually. They were also in that heat with us. We finished 9th overall. And it was a solid swim, but we really kind of wanted to get to the 800 because that was, that's an event that we've won a lot over the years. And it was a just back and forth battle with UVA. It was some great splits. I feel like we left a little money on the table to win that one. And so we came up short, but we went 650, which is still pretty damn good.
Yeah.
But UVA put together just an awesome relay and was just a little bit ahead of us. But you go through that. There's all that hype, and these guys know this, right? There's all that hype for that first relay, which is a minute and 20 seconds, and then you have 45 minutes of just dead time. And so we used to tell our folks who weren't in either relay to just swim in between. If you were going to just loosen tonight, just get in between those two relays just to sort of relax off that first one, because there's so much buildup. But the reality is the meet doesn't really get going from a points perspective until that next morning. If you can just kind of weather the storm of that first night, good or bad, you come in Thursday morning, and that's when you have to start getting going.
Yeah. Well, we've got about 30 minutes to fill some time here. So if you guys got questions or anything you want to ask in the comments section here, throw them in, other than just kind of giving us updates on times. You got questions? We've got a pretty solid group here that can answer some stuff. Bobby, did you give us a quick overview of your season? How'd you feel about it, man?
I feel great, thanks. Yeah, it's I think on the men's side, we took over a good team when I came here in 2020, and it just did a lot of work with the culture standpoints and to make it a full team effort. On the women's side, so when it came in 2020, we were either last or second to last in the conference. My first year here, we were second to last in our conference, and then I think from there, we recruited some good individuals that understand what we're trying to build here at UNC Wilmington. Second year, which is not this season, last year, we slingshot to second. And then this year on the women's side, we won for the first time since 2006. So that was really, very impressive. And I think the combination of really just leadership on the senior group and the freshmen that bought into it, and our motto all year long is just, it's never too high, it's never too low. And we know that things were not going to be perfect, and things kind of go our way, and things are not going to go our way, and not just the championship, but we talk a lot about never too high, never too low all season long. And I thought that was a really good approach for our women and men's side as well. So all things considered, we're very happy with what we achieved this year. Thank you.
That's good, man. It's awesome. I love it. Some good comments coming in. Actually, a hot topic here. Murph, what are you thinking here, dude? Have you analyzed this thing?
Yeah. I haven't tried anything out. I think I'm kind of in the mode where Like I'll just kind of see what other people do, and if something's working, I'll copy it rather than try to be a trailblazer here.
Well, I think we've already seen one kid kind of finish here and kind of kicking into the wall. Is that
can you do that, or does it have to be traditional?
I think you could. I think you could go underwater with 5 meters left. I mean, like my knee-jerk reaction would be in something like a 50 back short course. Well, that could actually be faster because you're not tired yet. But I mean, in an event where you're like hurting, especially in backstroke where your legs are dragging, like there's no way at the end of a 2 back going under with 5 yards left is going to be faster.
No. Yeah. No. I mean, that assumes like I always come to backstroke from trying to limit the amount of backstroke I would do, and this would help that. So that was my immediate take.
Why? I don't understand I haven't actually read the rules, so I have no idea. But is it 5 meters out? So basically, from the flags in, you can dive underwater, but you can't dive under before the flag. Is that what you're saying?
Correct, but I don't know if that's your head or your feet or
that's
or what.
I mean, we are still yet to truly decide what breaking the surface truly means.
Well,
yeah.
Let's get Ryan Murphy out there testing this thing. Let's test this.
Yeah, if anyone's got any ideas of stuff for me to try, maybe it could be like the Tennessee breakout thing. I don't know, where you're like kind of on your side and you're doing like that little thing.
Yeah.
That could be the finish. Who knows? But we'll see.
Murph, I've got a question for you about 50 backstroke.
Yes.
Because you were talking about it earlier with Carson doing backstroke on the Texas medley. What did you, other than spinning your arms faster, and maybe that was your answer because it's the reality, but did you have a different mindset at all from 50 back to 100 back? Knowing that there's a pretty big difference, right, from 100 back to 200 back. But were your kick counts at all any different from the 50 to the 100? Is there just anything else that you were thinking about?
Yeah, the kick counts were definitely different. And it's kind of just based on feel. I mean, the 50 back for me is really just like max effort. So I'd go in more recently, like short course meters, that's probably a better example. Like in 100 back, I'm probably never doing more than 8 kicks underwater. In a 50 back, I could probably go up to like 11, where I'm just kind of like flailing my legs. And then the stroke counts, like in college, I remember in the 100 back, I think I was 6 strokes on the first lap. And I think I was 8 strokes on the first lap in 50 back. So like, I'm definitely not, I definitely never put like too much of an emphasis on it. Like I think I probably could have figured out how to swim that a little bit more efficiently and probably a little bit faster, but I ended up just kind of flailing with it.
Well, and you knew your bread and butter was the 100 and the 200, right? So
yeah, and like it's just hard. It's hard when you're in training throughout the season to be like, you know what, I'm going to put in some work on the 50 today. Like that was never, like I'm probably putting in 1 practice a week towards the 100. So it's like everything's got to be training for the 200, and the 50 back just kind of becomes like priority 3 for me.
Yep.
Murph, I got a question about your underwater dolphin. Do you always focus on the size of the dolphin kicks? Like let's see on the 100 backstroke and 200 backstroke, like off the walls, you focus on slightly bigger in the beginning and the middle, getting a little smaller towards the end into the breakout, or do you have any, your routine? And I know some people focusing more, hey, when they push off the wall, they want to be a streamline. If they go big immediately, they break that line, and they feel like it's not as efficient. And then as they got a breakout, this is for you too, Tom. Like, I'm really, you guys are some of the best underwater kickers in history, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, and if you ever thought about it, and any insight would be great.
Yeah, I think on the first couple kicks, I call it 2 or 3, I'm really just trying to hold the line pretty well. Mm-hmm. So those ones are going to be a little bit lighter, and then as and then the other piece I'm thinking about is as I'm getting closer to the surface, I don't want I don't want the rhythm of my dolphin kicks to be super different than the rhythm of my swimming. So in the 200, I think the dolphin kicks stay a little bit bigger just because my rotation side to side is going to be a little bit more. Where in the 100, I think I accelerate to get those kicks moving a little bit faster, just so that it's easier to get into the backstroke rhythm. So I think there's a tendency, especially in the U.S., just with the way that we've traditionally gotten race stats. I mean, we're timing 0 to 15 and like 50 to 65, and like we're getting really locked into that. And so it's like, yeah, you could probably sell out to go a little bit faster on that 15-meter reading, but if it takes you 4 strokes to get into your rhythm because you're going huge on the dolphin kicks, it doesn't really make a ton of sense for the overall race. So that's mostly what I'm thinking, is just getting into the rhythm of my stroke really good.
Was there a thought on either of you guys to do kind of like the Dressel transition where you fly kick to the surface and snap into the catch? Tom, have you done that?
Well, that's Phelps's thing.
Oh,
no disrespect to Caleb, but he's the one who started doing that.
Nice.
I would do it freestyle for sure. I never really found it making sense backstroke. Where I made 90% of my money, that's the kick I was doing. So like transitioning to a rotation was never my concern. And I was explaining this to someone last night, like flyers, people who choose fly are people who don't really want to, I don't really want to consider like the technical issues. I'm just going to kick as hard as I can, like experience like the full depth of the emotions of the race. And I don't know. I really thought a lot about flight plan, and like, yeah, you want to take like a bigger kick up front on your stomach and on your back. Like that makes perfect sense. What Murph was saying, to get your hips in the right spot. But I just really wanted to get deep and then use buoyancy to come up. But I think like flyers are the least technical. We're a lot more like, hey, my cardio is this level. I'm going to do everything as like insanely as possible. And that's why you become a flyer. So I don't know.
What about this one here? If there was $100 on this, who wins it?
Today?
I think Tom. I think unless we're going from a dive, I think Tom's got that.
Yeah, I think my dive is so weak, it'd be hard to say it wouldn't be me. Again, no offense to Murph, but if it's a real swimming race, I would lose every time, because swimming involves starts, and I could never do it.
Really? Yeah. Okay. All right.
But I mean, I think you probably if you looked at our like 0 to 15, Tom versus me, I would say I'm probably be a little bit better 0 to 10, and then Tom really smokes me 10 to 15.
Well, I love hearing you talk about that, because I had to make the opposite decision, because I was like, okay, Caleb and Michael at any part of my career, or Chad or Joseph, whoever it is faster. So I have to like sacrifice. Like I remember we made a decision to go 3 breaths straight off the turn in the 100 long course, just because like we want to get 265 as quick as possible. That was back when we were working with Greg, actually. But so we just felt that we have to maximize the strengths. But I mean, for people who can actually swim like Ryan, balancing out those priorities is better.
Greg, says the guy who won the 100 fly and the 100 back in the same Ncaa championships.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you could swim, brother.
I've said this to Ryan, so I can say this publicly. I think Murph changed like the expectation of what a backstroker can and should be able to do. Like in the post Lochte and then Pearsall retiring, and those guys were a little bit older. Like in my era, we just didn't think of backstrokers as like forces to be reckoned with. So like like Subirats was the same way. He was the guy who did it first. And I mean no disrespect. And then Ryan comes on the scene, and now it's like, okay, getting past these guys is hard, especially in this country. I give that full credit to Ryan.
Hey, Ryan, have you ever, or will you ever get to the point where you're just doing singles?
I don't think so, honestly. I mean, not for like a full season. I think you could. I mean, I think my personal philosophy is that I think I could hold fitness really well. I mean, I think it's a little bit different person to person. I think I could hold strength well, and I think I could hold fitness well. So I think I could probably go like 6 months of singles and not really lose a beat. But I think at some point it's really good for me to just like get into the rhythm of my stroke by doing doubles.
Yeah. I think if I could qualify my statement on that to the person who asked that, I think I was speaking about the pandemic and there's definitely times of the season in your 30s where it would be good. And we were going to play around with that this year, but then other things happened. But this would be the time period where we would be doing that for like a longer stretch. But it would still be 4+ hours of working out, but just do it in one, like you just swim for a long time and then lift for a long time once. And I thought as you get older, instead of having to ride like 2 highs, which gets harder as you get older. I mean, even coaching, it probably gets harder as you get older, right? But I've always had that theory, and it comes from Salo. He would have much more data behind it, but he says he's done it for a while.
It's all about the details, man. It's true. It's true. Details matter for sure. We got 2 coaches here work on the details every day too. Shit. Hey, Greg, is there a difference between coaching 2 legends like this and coaching women who are at the highest level? Is there any difference?
Yeah, for sure. And I never got to coach Murph at Cal. I left before he got there.
Oh.
But then
he coached me last summer though.
It came full circle, and then last summer in Budapest, I got to have a little touch point, which was actually really fun.
Nice.
As you might imagine, working with Murph is pretty awesome. You learn as much working with the greats as they will learn from you, and I think that's the one commonality. Men, women, it doesn't matter. When you're working with a great athlete as coaches, Bobby, Brett, like this, you learn from those folks, right? And you learn by watching, you learn by listening. I mean, the really truly great ones are very in tune with their swimming and what's going on. And so I love that. In terms of the physiological piece, there are some differences. And even within the same gender, they're, the same event, it could be attacked from 2 totally different angles. I know for us with someone like Tori, she doesn't train a lot of sprints. We get some touch points with it, but she likes to do work. She likes to do kind of 400 IM sets on Thursdays, and that helps her 200 IM more so than trying to focus in on 200 IM speed. So it you try and observe and figure out how they adapt to different stimulus, and then that's kind of our plan moving forward. And I learned a lot of that from Dave, just watching Dave operate with these guys and with Nathan and Anthony and those guys, just how you can see a pathway to an event. It is not a one size fits all. I think you learn from each of those, but you're going to get to point A, but from point A to point B on your own.
Yeah.
Greg, I feel like one thing that I've thought for a while is that relatively girls can go way faster in practice than guys. Do you think that's the case?
Certainly with Ledecky it was. Good God. I mean, she would do stuff in practice that would absolutely blow my mind. But yeah, I do think they're, and I don't know if it's just because of the musculature, if they're just able to recover a little bit quicker and be better kind of back-to-back days. So I think there's something to that. That said, there are some that, they just take a little bit more, and maybe it's the just the emotional investment. How quickly can you turn around and be ready to go fast again in training?
I have a question for all of you guys. So when I was at NCC, the very early years, my job is sitting on the upstairs, taking video and whatever, like fill up water bottle, whatever I need to. And I was always in awe on all the teams, like Stanford, Auburn, Cal. I grew up being a swim fan, and I watched you guys. And and one of my biggest fascination was I feel like when you, Greg, with your team on deck, like when Cal on the team on deck, and I remember, Brett, when you guys, there's a system almost on the pool deck. There's a like I see them, like I remember Ryan Hoffer. I remember I asked one of our volunteer assistant coach, I want you to watch Ryan Hoffer when he touched the wall, clock them. What he did, watch them, take notes, how much warm down, when is he getting on the massage, when is he getting off, and consistently for 4 days. I'm like, Your job is that. And we talk about it. I just want to know, like, how these guys do it. Like, I want to kind of know that. Do you guys prep that? Do you guys have that? You know, like, how do you manage that? Like, or as an athlete, you guys, Tom and Ryan, like, how do you have that from the staff, that from Dave, or when Dave and Greg work together, like leading up to championship, there is a routine that you do, you talk about it, or it seems to me it's like a symphony where everybody know what they're doing and everybody knows.
I'll jump on this one first and be short, but that would be exactly what I would say. So I'm an old guy who I've done some marriage counseling, and what I think about it is like when you design the relationship to work well, it's the same exact thing that Dave and Greg did at Cal to instill this. I don't know if Dave would say he actively teaches it, and that'd be interesting to hear what Greg says. But it is it's orchestral, and that like everyone kind of knows where they're supposed to be. And then there's this hierarchy where it's like, if this guy wants to put his bag here, I'm going to get out of his way. For me, that would be like Nathan and Ryan. You know what I mean? Everyone knows their spot, and like you kind of have to do the dance in a way that works for everybody. And like the hierarchy it is not the most important piece, but I just mean that's a piece of it. And every little person has to play their role. And like you might watch it and it's like seems like organized chaos, and then we'll all kind of turn and be like, what's this clown doing? And like kind of bring him back into the herd. Like if you ever like are in a horse line and one of the horses just gets like his own mind, the other horses will go get him. It's not the guests on the horse tour, right? And so that's kind of how a good team will function.
I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah.
I'd say, I mean, it's pretty much, it ends up being pretty individualized too. I mean, some people are going to be a little bit more like hyper mobile than someone else. And then just kind of what gets the system firing is going to be a little bit different too. So, I mean, I think the way that I've always looked at it in kind of like translating the way that Dave talks about it is, I mean, here are the options of how to warm up, how to recover. And it's kind of up to you throughout the season to figure out what works for you and when it works for you. And then by the time you get to the meet, you're ready to rock.
And I've got a follow-up question to that too, because I feel like when swimmers are pretty superstitious. And so when you find something that works, whether it's in your warm down routine or in your warm up routine, how religious, for lack of a better phrase, are you with that? Like, I need to do these. I really want to do these 5 things in my warm up, and I really want to do these 5 things in my warm down recovery process.
Absolutely. I mean, it's almost religious. It's like if I based what I would do behind the blocks on Michael because he took so long. So I straight up stole the part where he like stretches his hammies, like leans forward on his knees. I was like, I'll just do that because he takes forever, and he has the back slaps. So, and then me and him started to like, I'll never know if it was out loud, or like if he ever felt it, but we see who could cough the latest before the start. So it was always those little things. But I mean, yeah, and like I took stocks and shoot work as something that Murph basically invented as the last thing you do in warm up, and I was just saw him. I think we were at Worlds in 2015, and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna do that. So it's like an attribution or like a worship level of like, oh, that guy does this, I'm going to take that. Absolutely.
Here's a good question. We see the Virginia women doing some genius math. Are you doing any work with it?
I think I got the question. You broke up a little bit on your end, but
I did. No,
yeah,
sorry.
no, not yet. We want to, and there's certain, just trying to find ways within the NCAA rules on how to do some of this stuff, because you can't, if you're not an official coach, you can't work directly with student athletes. You can work with the coaches. If you're a consultant, right, you can work with the coaches to give information to the athletes. So we're just trying to find what that looks like here. And there's also the NCAA is moving towards the, not designating volunteer coaches anymore and allowing a second paid assistant for single gender programs and an additional 1 or 2 for a combined program. So we're really taking a full 360 review of our program right now and how to make that work both within the coaching limits and then also from that consulting end. because there are some pretty amazing people on campus, and just trying to get access to them is something that we're interested in and excited about.
I like it. What else we got here? Let's go through this. I'm going through the comments here. Not particularly about this question and Dressel, but I got a question for you guys as athletes. Dressel's taken some time off and obviously worked on his mental health. You both have had different approaches to pressure and sponsors and expectations and things like that. Maybe if you guys could both just touch on, getting to a point where you're one of the best swimmers in America. You go to Olympics and World Championships. You're winning medals. You got pressures from families and sponsors and things like. It starts to just get to a point where it is overwhelming. You got to have a social media presence, and it's like you have these expectations as a great athlete. Murph, you're one of the greatest in history, man. I'm sure you felt something like Caleb's gone through. Have you ever wanted to just disconnect for a while?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think I'm someone like where if I am stressed, I deal with stress by planning. So, I mean, like as an example, so 2016 went great. And then coming off of that, so my senior year of college, and then I turned professional after NCAA's in March, sign a contract, and then go to long course worlds. And so you come in as defending Olympic champion in both. And then I got third in the 100, second in the 200, and then got beat by Grievers. So I wasn't on any finals relays. And so it's like, that sucked. And like the whole week I was just like bumming out. I think I was being kind of mean to Dave, and then he snapped at me, and I kind of was like, all right, like get with it. But coming off of that, it's like, all right, I want to make sure that doesn't happen again. I mean, so now it's kind of the thing that gives me the biggest fear is being underprepared, because that's what I felt like in 2017. I didn't think I put in enough work, and so now it's just like, all right, I know I don't have it college anymore, so I've got these 10, 11 months. What do I need to do to make sure I feel prepared? And then have open communication with the coach, and then that's good. And then outside of the pool, yeah, I mean, trying to find balance, trying to find healthy distractions, good hobbies is important. But then also something that keeps your mind active too. That's something that I've really leaned into over the past couple of years is trying to prepare for life after swimming. What am I interested in? What can I do to hopefully be in a position that I can walk in the door and make a positive impact, and not have like a 6-month period where it's like, wow, I'm drinking from a fire hose. So those are all things that help me feel calm, I guess.
Yeah. Tom, you went out and you became a dad, man. You're a dad.
So I was like, oh yeah, you don't say.
No, you're a dad now. What about you, man?
How's that
impacted you?
I mean, I struggled very differently. So one of the main things I struggled with throughout my whole career is like my why, or like what I wanted. And I think like Murph, you might appreciate this, is like I saw people want more and then go and get that. And I struggled with like myself internally is like, well, why don't I want that? Whether it be money or sponsors or medals or like whatever. Whereas like I was just kind of competing is like when I reflect, and I really felt like out of place, and like I succeeded way beyond what I ever thought I would. Like, right? I mean, Greg, you saw me my freshman year, and then my career just kind of happened, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. And then I really started to slow down in that 15, 16, 17 time period, and really just kind of accept how cool it was. And then the next year, obviously, was the year I tried to hang myself. And that was more of just like a regret filled, or like I couldn't forgive anything that had happened in that earlier time period with whoever in my life, my wife, the people I work with, my family, my friends, and then therapy and starting to go through that. And I find it interesting in life now. I was just talking to another athlete who is looking at what he's doing next, who didn't really have a plan. And he's kind of studying transitions. And he's like, this is like, why isn't there something here? And that's where I am with mental health. It's like, okay, so there's only 600 Olympians every 4 years for the summer games. It's like, how hard would it be for a private entity to come in and have a personal, I don't know if offboarding is the right word, because, you know, I was a 2-time Olympian. Murph's probably going to have a couple more. You know, some people come back, but like, how hard would it be to touch all 600 as an entity? That's not the USA Swimming Foundation or USOPC or AAC or governance or like asking something from you, is really the question I've been asking recently. And it's probably the direction I'm going to find myself heading in here pretty soon. But I was talking to someone last night, like, I'm going to move away from this area. And they're like, oh, this is where it's all happening. Like, you got to stay here. You got to do this. You got to do that. And it's like, I don't find myself wanting to. And it's like one of the first few times in my life where it's like, I'm letting that just like be okay. And it's like, every time you work harder, you get more in life. And that's true in swimming. That's true in life. And really being okay with the fact that the reason I wasn't able to do that is because I just didn't want to. Like, I really liked my lifestyle, and a lot of people lock themselves inside on the weekends and they're like so good on their nutrition and recovery or so disciplined in their planning. And that was just never my style. I really liked what swimming gave me in terms of freedom. And that's what I took from it. And so I don't know if I could have gotten more than I had. And I definitely worked my ass off, but that's where I land on all that. And so I just hope if Caleb ever opens my text that I sent him after the ISL or anything, is that he sees that. And it's like, you know, you, especially him and Michael, and this is Brett, I really want you to have Tyler McGill on, because he's like one of the 5 of us from 2004 that I think is a little underrepresented. And the prelim relay shame that Murph also mentioned is so real. And one of like the weird like trauma recreations I've done in my life is like going to the games again, knowing that I'm just not swimming on finals and having to like guide some other guys through that. And I know McGill went through a part of that, but I've never gotten to speak to him on it. And everyone else has been on finals from 2004 on. So it's Ian, Phelps, and Caleb, obviously. So it's like an interesting relationship with the sport where we're left wanting in a world where everyone assumes we're left overwhelmed. And it's like this weird position that we find ourselves in. So I think that would be an interesting podcast guest with an interesting podcast topic for you. It's one I've almost called him like many times in the last 6 months and been like, hey, like, how did it feel? What did you go through? Because like, there's only a couple dudes, individual number dudes that have ever been in this position.
Yeah, get on it, man. I'm sure he'll take your call. No doubt about it. There's Will Dove. Look at Will Dove, man. He's an old Auburn boy right there in the show. Love it.
North Carolina boy.
Yeah. We got some swimming starting soon, I guess.
Oh,
Hey?
yeah.
We got another relay coming up soon.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. Let me ask you this, Greg. You have a team of women that are just phenomenal themselves. How do you transition from going through a season like you just went through, where you're putting so much pressure on them, and then it's like, oh, hey, guess what? We're going to turn around and now we're going to focus on the summer, and you got to be ready in a couple of months. Like, in terms of like mental health and just the way swimming's set up, it's like it's such a tough deal, isn't it?
It is. And I think, not to correct you, but I think they'll always put more pressure on themselves than we'll ever put on them as coaches, right? And you know that, Brett. Like you've worked with those ones. They want to be excellent. I think for a long time we've had folks come to Stanford that have wanted to be the best at both, and so finding that balance of short course and long course success. It was really interesting last year with an April trials, right? I had never experienced that from a coaching lens of NCAA championships in March. Okay, quick turnaround. I think we had 5 or 6 weeks from NCAAs to trials, and then we had a longer time period from trials to Budapest. It still wasn't long, but it was longer. I think it was like 5 weeks, 7 weeks. And what I found is I was a little less rigid in my weekly cycle, and trying to just be a little bit more creative on like what they needed in that period in between. And I think it really worked. And we only had 2 that went to world trials, but they both did great. And then they they went to Worlds and did well. So it was interesting in that turnaround, but I was always worried about the, all right, how do we hang on? But the beauty is in that particular summer, we knew that, okay, Worlds in Budapest were in June. When like July 3rd rolled around, take your break, right? This is the last big break that you're going to take during this quad. Like, go do fun stuff. Don't stress about, swimming. Don't stress about school, because if you don't get those breaks often enough, it gets really hard. And so that was our approach, what good, bad, or otherwise. This year, with trials being at the end of June, like right now, they're off this week. They're taking either this week or next week off, and the other of those 2 weeks is going to be mostly just kind of dry land or swim. And they're not here. They're gone for 2 weeks, which is great. Because then we come back and we've got like 12 weeks leading into World Trials to go get after it. And I hope that 2 week period is enough to just kind of reset emotionally, not just physically, but certainly emotionally.
Yeah. There was a question up earlier, and I just want to try and dig into it quickly before this thing kicks off here. But just maybe if any of you guys have some comments on it. Like, you go through a season and either you have success or failure, but you never want to then just go back and do exactly what you've done in the past, either as a coach or an athlete. So like someone like you, both you guys as swimmers, but, the longevity as coaches, you're at a program like Stanford for a period of time, right? And it's like, well, you want to evolve each season. So like, what do you decide to keep and what do you decide to get rid of? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And even in our best years, I think one of the things that Tracy and I are good at is being self-critical. At the end of a season, we kind of do like a half evaluation in December, and then we do another one in April, and then one more in the summer. And I think you have to be self-critical, otherwise you will get stale. And we've changed everything from dry land to training groups to everything. And this is the longest I've ever been somewhere. So this is the end of year 11. And so it is new territory. And I found myself, I have found myself getting softer in certain like accountability details. Tommy can like laugh. That's not my style.
No, the only reason I laugh is Dave was the same.
Yeah. Okay. And I think there's some things that I need to go back to, like year 3 and 4, Greg, not year 11, Greg. And so, Bobby, I'd love to hear your opinion, because you saw that at work with NC State and how Braden kind of did that. And now in your own deal, like, how do you evaluate performance through the course of the year and changes to make?
Yeah, I think, we're pretty similar with you at NC State. I was there for 8 years. That was the longest. I mean, I started coaching at NC State, and I really learned from everything. Kind of watching, all of those coaches. My first 3 years is just really just watching and learning, and they asked me to do whatever, I'll do it. I remember I went to every morning practices and all that. But I think the big thing was pretty similar setup with what you just explaining. It was very dynamic. It was very, you got the middle distance, that is sprint. We got the distance, and then they all evolved differently. They're all changing differently, and it was really amazing to me to watch Braden, how to orchestrated different coaches, and they kind of we were moving in the same pace, but at the same time, absolutely different pace within the group. So, and I thought, when I took over UNCW, you've been in mid-major before, and the big key is 52 weeks progression. Means that it's really hard to get people to stick around town and just to kind of continue to work. It was 26 weeks in mid-major, right? We actually talk about it. That one of the key success for us, we had 35 individuals stick around in Wilmington last summer.
Wow.
So in that 35 people, and to me, I thought my last 2 years at NC State, I started working on this more, where I didn't necessarily peak some of the depth swimmers for summer, because we kind of knew, all right. And the question would be, what do you want to do? Like, what's your goal, right? If it's not Olympic trials goals, what do you want to do? Like, I want to go to top 8 at AC. I want to make the ACC team. I want to make the NC2A. Okay. here are some of the area that were really, really good. And we sacrifice some long course and not necessarily not doing work. We're still doing work, but we're really figuring out how to, okay, we're really not afraid of not peaking in the summertime, but totally different 16 weeks progression and totally focusing on a certain area that, may not necessarily help them to be a better swimmer. Hey, but when it come down back to August, they're better athletes. They're more complete athletes. And that's I feel that what we are approaching right now, out of all our swimmers, and currently I work with probably only a handful of them have a shot to make the Olympic trials this summer. So those are going to be focusing on that, right? But the rest of them, we focus on a 52 weeks progression. Okay, which area that we need to be better so that they can be a better athletes or better swimmers by the time we get to August and September. And it's kind of scary in a way. Sometimes I'm just kind of I'm used to all right, we're gonna shift and taper in July, wherever meet we go national, we're going there, and almost well, we're not really peaking there, but we're seeing some improvement in certain area. And I remember one year at NC State, my last year over there, we had a guy who we thought we just need to do more aerobic, but in that particular summer, we did not do any aerobic much in the summertime. We just get them strong and focus on underwater, focus on technique more. He went 56 in 100 fly long course meter, and in July it was really slow. But it turned around in that season. His best time was 48.7 the previous year, and then in November he went 46.5 in 100 fly, and then in ACC went 46.0. So he dropped almost 3 seconds because it would just be devoted our time to, okay, we want to peak in February. So we devoted that together, and kudos to him. He bought into it, and he split 19 and 50 fly in our relay that particular year. That was really cool just to watch that, so. Yeah. But yeah, it's 52 weeks progression. I guess it's important.
When does this relay stop?
They just finished heat one.
I just watched heat one. Reload.
Gotta reload.
You got to have to go out and click back in because it's two separate.
Redid it.
Oh, I got you. I was like, what's going on here?
Notre Dame was 6:14.3, I believe. Faster than my fastest team would have gone.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Got to lead off at 132.0. That may not make it top 8, right?
200 free is so fast.
Yeah. But yeah, Greg, so Dave, within the last year has reinstilled you can't put your feet in the gutter after 6 years of just not really caring. And he's like, well, okay, no, I got to get back on that.
Yeah. And I do think it's little things built on top of each other that culturally just gives you that rock solid foundation. And I think for me, I'm going to speak for me personally, just through the pandemic, and you guys know because you lived it here in Northern California, it was brutal, right? And we're just trying to create happy places for these kids, but at the end of the day, we've moved beyond that, and now we need to there's just going to be a higher level of accountability with some of our detail stuff. I let somebody breathe off a turn. I never let them do that before.
Dude, the pandemic was crazy. I'm calling around, trying to partner with some clubs sometimes, and they're still complaining about how much pool space our programs had to use. And I was like, I get it. I understand, but we had to do what we had to do, man. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
It's not like it was free. They're making a profit.
Murph, what was something that you maybe didn't intend to or didn't realize that you would have learned through the pandemic about yourself, be it swimming or otherwise? Was there anything that just kind of in retrospect you really kind of took away?
I mean, I think really just it's the simple things that make me happy. I mean, I think I was pretty lucky during the pandemic because I lived in a house with 5 other people. So it's not like I wasn't completely isolated the whole time. I actually saw my friends probably more. So the pandemic was sweet because it was great, because I think that one of the biggest stressors for pro athletes is, I mean, before, if you had a PR day, you're flying to New York, where during the pandemic, we figured out you could just patch people into Zoom and frankly get a lot more done. So I think there are a lot of positives that of lasting positives for athletes of like, all right, we could stay home and train a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is just like, it doesn't take much to find happiness, to be honest. It's really just like connections with people for me.
Amen.
Yeah, I like it, man. Yeah, speaking of connections and people, you know the part of social media that I love the most. I love this part about social media. I love the block feature. I love fucking blocking people, man. God, I love that. Oh man, thank you, social media, for allowing me to block people.
No, I mean, to relate that to the pandemic, I think that's one of the main things that I learned was just like, I'm just going to do my thing. And so many campsites, people canceled all their year out reservations, and I just got to do a bunch of cool stuff. So,
yeah,
I hope it's cool if Mag sings out. I think Mom has some work.
Oh hell yeah, man! It's awesome.
Yeah, what's up, little man?
Yeah,
what's going on, champ?
Look at that.
This is I think this is actually the one that you gave me after we took pictures, Ryan. The lay.
There we go.
Yeah.
Love it.
All right, who we got out in front here? Who's in this
Alabama.
race?
Out front.
Alabama. Bama.
Well, what are you guys at now? I'm at 313.
Yeah, I'm 10 ahead of you.
Me too.
Yeah.
God, screw my internet here. This place sucks.
This place sucks.
That's an easy way to get sponsorship. Whatever internet provider you got, and go to the other one.
Yeah.
Negative marketing. I will post every day about how bad you are until you fix it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Bama looks good though.
131.8 on the leadoff. Pretty good.
At SEC, they were leading until the last one. I think Florida ran them down in the last 50 or something.
Got it.
That was my cousin, wasn't it? Charlie Hawk out there in 131.
Charlie Hawk, yeah.
Yeah, cuz.
Well, let's go. Is that an Aussie kid?
Yeah.
Nice.
Aussie kid. Yeah, someone's reeling him in here. Who's this in lane 4? Is it? Oh, they're reeling him in.
So it's Auburn in lane 4, and then 'cause I've got the heat sheet up here, and then Georgia's in lane 5.
Oh, there's an SEC heat right here.
Yep.
Last leg going in. I love this relay. I mean, there's just 800 free relay is fun to watch. There's so much to it. So much can happen.
From a coaching perspective too, because you worked on all the legs. It's like, it's a lot of these guys are going to go be salesmen, engineers within the next couple months. So I think it's pretty fun relay, more than some of the other ones. That's what I always loved about it.
Yeah. It has been interesting this year, just I think the depth of the NCAA, both on the men's side and the women's side, is just a little bit better because of all the fifth years kind of hanging around. But it's also been interesting to see like the fifth years actually being impactful at the end versus, maybe it was 1 year too long. Just looking at some of the results from last week. So it's interesting, right? I don't know why college was 4 years, but it just seems to be the sweet spot of a collegiate career for most. And I know I'm not speaking to you two because you guys have had incredible professional careers, but for your average kid that's kind of ready to move on, that the end of that fourth year is a celebration, and then it's time.
I will say, I think ISL exposed a lot of 27-year-olds don't want to do an NCAA schedule.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
6'11".
That's fast.
Yeah.
Auburn for the win. Damn. Here we go.
They had a nice meet last week on the women's side. You know, I think Ryan's doing a good job, and the orange hair is back.
Yeah, it's supposed to be blonde, but they went with the orange. I like that. Okay. That's a big call. That's from 97, man. That's a 97 thing. Jeez.
Is that when it started?
Yeah, that's when it started.
And what year were you there? What was your
97 was my freshman year. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll always remember into 2A's 2010. You guys had like a boom box and you shouldered one of our swimmers down, and I'll always say that's why that guy became a Navy SEAL. Greg, you'll know who that is.
Robbie Sullivan.
Yeah.
Really? Somebody bumped into him?
No.
Yes. Oh, classic. Yeah.
Wow.
Gotta love a good NCAA pool deck, you know?
Of course.
Oh, it's awesome. It's awesome.
I was thinking about this, Tom. You remember this?
What?
In 2010, like, you know, we're getting ready to start the meet Wednesday night. So the relay wasn't Wednesday night yet. We're getting ready to start the meet Thursday morning, and it's like, nope, we're going to delay the meet 24 hours. I mean, they delayed the NCAA championships a full day. Brett, you were the head coach at Auburn at the time, right?
Yeah.
I just remember that
sick
being
on the plane.
Such a such a
Is that
unique experience.
Arizona and Texas.
Was that a sickness thing?
Yeah, the norovirus, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And that was one of our. I mean, that was as good an NCAA as Tom as we had, I think, at that point. That extra day of rest.
We won 4 of the relays.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, here it is, the big heat.
Oh, I think the boys are in.
Big heat. All right, lining up here.
But you know that this new all finals only for relays also makes the old NCAA relay records look more impressive, right? Because they have to do prelims and finals. Like, you know, that's pretty tough. To me, I'm like, I take a look at the 200 freestyle relay and the 400 freestyle relays. I think that 2018 here in Minnesota, NC State went 244 in the morning at preliminary, and then went 244 again at night. And, you know, I was just kind of like thinking about that. I didn't think back, but wait a minute, like those guys went 244 twice. Like, and I'm sure, you know, when Auburn went 114.0, I've tried to look for it, but what did they go in the morning, Brad? Did you guys have different people swim in the morning for that 2-3 relay?
Listen, man, we were so hot in that relay for so long. I have no idea who swam on that relay. I got to tell you, we had some good guys coming through around that time, you know. So like when I look at the relay, I'm like, oh, that person swam on that, and that person swam on that. So we had a stable of guys coming through in the 50 free for a period of time at Auburn, and it was kind of like you could just pick and choose whoever you wanted to put on that thing, you know. So it's hard to remember exactly which order who did what, you know, like. I know that one of the relays had Colton Norris on, and like Colton Norris couldn't swim a 50 free to save his life, but he's on this relay that, you know, it's like, so yeah, we just
he swung like a 48 low almost. I would like to say once.
Yeah, I will say from a coach's perspective, the stress level reduction by not having prelim relays is clutch. As much as I loved prelim relays because we were pretty versatile and talented, and we could like swap out 4 people. But man, it was still stressful because
I also dispute how much that I never got a prelim. Someone swimming for me in prelims. Did you, Ryan, or is he muted up?
Yeah. I would just have Pebley did 4 medley for me.
Your Olympic teammate.
Hey, just quickly, who's leading off for Texas here?
Who's leading off Texas?
Yeah, I mean, Texas is going to be. Gabe is looking good though. I don't know what I reloaded mine. I'm at 120 now.
Yeah, you got to go 129. Finish distance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Texas should win this one. I mean, that kid looks good.
Who was that who led off?
I think it was Hobson.
Oh, okay.
129.6. Yeah.
I mean, Gabe had to have been 131 low there, Tom.
Yeah.
Gabe looked good there.
ASU did not use.
I know you were referencing Stanford, but I do remember
ASU.
ASU did not lead off with Leon, so you've got he was 129 last year, so you could expect that ASU is maybe going to have a big back half year.
Is that Destin getting ready on the chair there?
I think the guy in the water for Cal, I think that's Lucas.
Yeah, Lucas. I think Destin's coming up next. I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, great guys. I'm sure the Stanford women is a different scenario. You guys were so good for so long. But I remember the only time we switched was me and Matthias switched back and fly. But we still did freelance.
Yeah, you still were both on it. You just switched strokes.
Yeah.
You know, one year at NC State, we were so, like, I remember, like, we put all the A guys in the morning for 400 medley relay just to get in the top 8. Exactly. We got into the top 8. We swapped all the A guys to rest them for the next day. We swapped everybody that went in.
To make the points.
We tell them, like, wait until they touch before you go. But, hey,
so running in prelims is your fault.
It's exactly. Prelim was the finals for some team. It's like, I mean,
look, the championship scores have trended down for the last 10 years, which I think is great, right?
Yep.
Like people are now going to different schools, which is great. It's a fantastic position for the sport to be in.
And they are dropping the hammer on this.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
Looks like they were maybe 31 split on that second leg, 31 low maybe.
Well, I think they were 3001, so 30.5.
30 point, yeah.
Jesus. Goodness.
Yeah,
and Carson hasn't gone. Carson's going last. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, Carson's not giving up that lead. Who's in lane 2 though? Lane 2's kind of cranking.
Yeah,
NC State.
And Carson loves this. I mean, he got the short course guys going. He's so into this relay.
Well, Carson's
so
got it mentally. I mean, he wants to be great.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's kind of the reason why Texas they're leading with their 4 IM 5 free guys right now.
Yeah.
Like
you can see how he can build a culture just by meeting them.
Yeah,
Indiana is like right there too. They're in lane 7.
Yeah, we're
coming back.
We're looking at a battle here for this last leg. I mean, second looks wide open.
Oh. Well, Leon about to jump in.
Yeah, he is.
So you better go far away from him. He's coming.
And watching his underwaters it's just, even in a 200 free, it's insane.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So this is Leendo.
Nah, that's not Leendo.
Is it not? My bad.
Destin's in for Cal.
Destin.
So hopefully he rides this guy in lane 7.
Yeah. I don't know who Indiana has.
Well, he's going out quick.
Is that Brendan Burns? Who is that? No.
All right, this is gonna be a good. This is gonna be a great race to finish. Well.
Yeah! Exclamation point in lane 3 though.
What's the record? 6:03.8.
6:03.
Yeah.
It's going down, isn't it?
Yeah, it's gonna be close.
Certainly looks like it.
Lane 4. I don't know if the draft position there makes a bunch of sense. A little bit too far back, but maybe.
Marchand is flying.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, that guy
is.
Yeah.
Holy hell, he's put some length on these guys. He's not catching Texas, but he's not that far off either.
No. Yeah.
Destin looks good though.
He is making it interesting.
I'm only talking about Cal.
Not quite. Yeah.
Damn, look at this kid. He's a talent, isn't he? Damn.
Let's go.
Yeah, it looks like Cal's in a good spot for third.
There you go. Yeah, Destin had a good one.
Destin's gonna be great this meet.
Yeah.
He's really. I mean, he's taking a lot of steps forward in training.
Putting together insane swing.
Yeah, new record.
Dude, they need to have a meeting, man. Get in the same cap.
Oh, they're not in the same cap. Oh, that's never good. Texas, boom. There we go.
Yeah, but they went odds, white, evens.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Someone get me a split on Marchand. I want to know what he just went.
Wow.
Dang, it was quick. Whatever it was, he was.
It had to have been 29 low.
Had to be, didn't it?
Has to be.
Maybe 28 high. I mean, he was, because Carson had a good split and he made up some ground.
Yeah. 28-4. Someone said 28. Well,
damn.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Not on the results yet.
After 22-2 breaststroke, right?
That's dirty.
Ooh.
Oh God.
Hey, Destin was 29.5.
Hey, there you go.
Listen to Destin splits here: 20.8 3-2, 2-8, 2-6.
What the world?
That's destined for you, man.
That's destined.
Yeah.
Homan 45-4.
Leon flipped at 42-2. He was 20.1, 22-1, 2-6, 3-5 for 28-4.
That's amazing.
So he was at 104.8 at the 150. What the hell?
Damn.
And that was Luke Hobson leading off. Ooh, but I'm hyped for Destin. Destin's gonna be naughty this meet.
And I feel like it's
a good start. It may be a good start for Arizona State. They go in second over here. It's pretty big deal. I mean, they're holding off pretty good. I mean, the other team that's up there, I mean, with Florida has slipped down a little bit on both relays. So it's going to be a tight. The last time NC2A happened in Minnesota, it was a really tight battle between you guys.
I think the tough thing for Arizona State, looking at the splits, is I think Grant was top seed in the 2 free with 30-point mid. He was 31-9 leading off, and he was next to a kid that went 29-6. So that hurts a little bit, but yeah, I mean Leon is Leon.
Wow. Nasty. Well, it's been fun. Hey, listen, while we've got everyone here, I just want to give a couple of updates on who's coming on in the next couple of days, some exciting stuff. So Florida's expected to break the NCAA record tomorrow night. And as a little surprise, we're actually got the ex-Florida sprint coach coming on, Steve Youngblood. Is that how you say his name? Youngblood? Anyone help me with that one? Is that pretty close?
Yep.
Okay, so Steve's coming on tomorrow night. He's actually going to be here commentating, watching the race with us, and seeing if those Florida boys can break the record. Friday night, we've actually got a special guest, Anders Holm. He's coming on. Anders is coming on, movie star. So he's gonna add some value on Friday. And I'll be
stole a Red Bull from that guy once.
Come on and tell him. You guys are always welcome back. You guys are my crew, so always welcome back anytime you want. But it'll be fun. Be pretty cool. And then, also all of the team here is on Any Questions. So if you guys got extra questions, hit them up on Any Question. I appreciate you guys being in there and doing that too. But this is fun, man. It'll be a fun meet. Predictions: is Cal going to win this thing? What?
I think so.
I think. I mean, the talent's all there. They just got to keep their heads on. So but I think it's. From my point of view, they're walking in a great spot. I mean, I think it's kind of on them. I don't think if they do what they do, I think they got it.
Yeah, they got the numbers, huh?
Yeah. It was definitely interesting to be there as an undergrad when we were kind of this scrappy, I guess, startup style environment. And now we're like this old school institution, but we still are that institution. So it's going to be difficult. I think they got it.
Well, you kind of look at the guys. I mean, Gabe going out 31-3. I think he was 32 high at Pac-12s, and then Destin going 29-5. I mean, Destin, like I was thinking going into the meet, Destin's 100 back has improved a ton this year, and he hasn't really shown anything of what he's got. So I was thinking his 100 back, he's kind of a dark horse to win it. I mean, that one's going to be tight, but then his 200 back should be really good. His 200 IM is going to be good. So I think the horses that you're counting on to get in 3A finals with Gabe and Destin there looking solid.
Absolutely. And I'd love to see the numbers on who recruited the best like semi-professionals. I think Cal has done a fantastic job with the 5th year division.
Nice.
We got one 5th year, right? Oh no, we got.
I thought we had 3 this year. Was I wrong on that?
Well, we had Lucas. Lucas came in January, and he's a beautiful swimmer. He might have another year of eligibility. Because it just depends whether golf counts with the COVID or it doesn't, because he was playing golf COVID during COVID. And then
and I guess I was counting Reese in my head, but he obviously went to Cal. But I just felt like there was some convincing going on in that department, which was just as effective as recruiting another person.
well, Rodarde too. I mean, he didn't make NCs, but he was a downhill skier until 2020. I mean, they've done well with the 5th years.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Appreciate it. It's been fun. Good start to the meet. You guys, thanks for taking the time, having a little drink with us, having a little fun with it. So appreciate it. And,
thanks. Good to see you guys.
Welcome back anytime. Okay, hit me up if you want to come back any day this week. You're always welcome, all right?
Good stuff.
Thanks, Brad.
See you guys. Bye.
Good seeing everyone.